Welcome everyone to the first episode of NFL Election Season 2. Since this series has been so popular, getting thousands of views, we've decided to bring it back. Now, here are the basics. If you get landed on by the wheel, you will win the state that the wheel is spinning for. If you win a state, you get their electoral votes, just like the presidential election. However, the top two teams with the most electoral votes will advance to the finals. This makes this round of the series vital to your team's success in this season. With that being said, let's get right into the tournament. We're going to be spinning for Alaska. So whichever team this lands on, out of all the AFC North and NFC North teams, they will be getting the 3 electoral votes from Alaska. That will be added to their final total. So you want to be winning as many states as possible. But remember, the bigger states are where it matters most. One thing we will be adding that we didn't add last season was the home state advantage. You will be able to get double the percentage on the wheel for your home state. Any teams from Texas and California are loving that addition. But we spin for Alaska, and the Browns will be the first team on the board. They will take the state of Alaska and their 3 electoral votes. However, Hawaii has 4 electoral votes, meaning that if you win Hawaii, you will pass the Browns unless the Browns win Hawaii as well. But no, the Vikings will get their first state on the board in taking Hawaii. If your team doesn't get on the board at the start, don't worry, because we have many chances for them to take the lead in many big states. Washington being one of them, where the Cincinnati Bengals will win 12 electoral votes, passing to both the Vikings and the Browns pretty easily. Oregon has 8 electoral votes. That's a good amount too. And the Packers will now get on the board. Half of the field has managed to get some states. No team has had 2 states yet. Will that change here? California has 54 electoral votes. It's the most out of all the states. And the Packers will get their second state and will take California. That is a great win for them, practically at this point guaranteeing that they advance. However, they will need to step it up in the later game. The Lions will take Nevada. If the Packers can't win more states, they could be in jeopardy of getting eliminated, but California gives them a good safety spot. Idaho has 4 electoral votes, and that will be going to the Steelers. The Steelers are now on the board. So far, the only 2 teams to not have any states are the Lions and the Bears. However, they could get their first state right here in Utah, and it looks like the Lions will. Now it's just the Bears that we're waiting on to get a state. Who knows how long that will be, but the Lions will get 6 electoral votes added to their total. Montana only has 4, but remember, any state is a crucial state, and the Bengals will be taking Montana. That is a good win for them. That now puts them to 16 electoral votes. That is a great start. Wyoming has 3 electoral votes, one of the smallest. The Lions will take Wyoming, though. They need any state they can get if they want to be competing. Arizona has a double-digit total. That will be a good amount for whoever gets Arizona, the very hot state, if you've been there. We'll be going to the Steelers. The Steelers have a very wide fan base from all across the country. I'm not surprised they are picking up states really early in the game. Colorado, the home of the Denver Broncos, will be going to the Cleveland Browns, who I don't think have won a state since Alaska. Good thing that they are able to repeat on this board. New Mexico has 5 electoral votes, but remember, any state is a great state, and the Packers will be taking 5 extra electoral votes to go on with their empire of states. They have 67 electoral votes. That is a lot. That's a great start for the Packers. North Dakota has 3 electoral votes going to the Steelers. The Steelers are getting states all over the map. They are very wide spread out, but that is a good thing because at the end of the day, they're getting states. The Vikings will win South Dakota. They haven't won a state since Hawaii. Good thing they are able to repeat. The Bears still haven't gotten a single electoral vote. That needs to change. And look, I just jinxed it. The Bears just won Nebraska. They will be getting 2 electoral votes with that win, which honestly isn't really anything at this point in the game. They need to step it up. Now we're going to start spinning for some districts. So the Cincinnati Bengals will win the first district. Remember, while these districts may not hold a lot of electoral votes, we've had many instances where the final spot in advancing, the final spot in winning, taking place of like passing in the leaderboard has been affected just by 1 electoral vote. Who knows, maybe your team winning one of these districts could be the way that they advance. We've seen it happen before. Trust me, it is big. We have had crazy episodes that you need to check out. Kansas's 6 electoral votes going to the Packers, just expanding their empire. Winning California is like a cheat code. Comment down below if we need to nerf California. Oklahoma has 7 electoral votes, and the Ravens will be winning Oklahoma. That is a good win for them. I don't think they've won since Nevada. That is a great win to show that they can compete. Texas has 40 electoral votes. If you win this, yeah, you probably will advance to the next round if you can keep it up. The Browns, they already have 13 electoral votes? Not much, but hopefully they can hold it. Minnesota is the Vikings' home state, so they will have double the percentage of winning. If you don't win your home state, that's just a shame. And so shame on the Vikings for letting the Bengals, out of all teams, win their home state. The Bengals will be getting 10 electoral votes from Minnesota, adding to their total, making it 27. They are a contender for that second place spot. Iowa will be going to the Vikings. The Vikings finally decide to show up after losing their home state. Can they win Missouri as well? Honestly, I think the Vikings need to catch up, and it looks like they have so far. The Vikings will take Missouri. That'll be 10 extra electoral votes to make their total 23. Arkansas has 6 electoral votes, and that will be going to the Packers. The Packers taking Arkansas, home of the Razorbacks, but home of the Packers now. They are now at 80 electoral votes. That's crazy. Louisiana has 8 electoral votes going to the Vikings. The Vikings have started a mission to gain back the electoral votes they lost from their own home state, but the Packers' home state will be going up next. Can the Packers win their own home state? They've gotten a lot of electoral votes. I don't expect them to fail in getting their home state. They will win Wisconsin, getting 10 more electoral votes. What is that, 90 now? That is 90 electoral votes for the Packers. This early in the game, I don't know if we've seen it before. I'll have to check back. This is the Bears' home state, but they end up losing it. The Bears haven't been doing good at all this series. 2 electoral votes, losing their own home state to the Browns. I think that's when you know you've gone wrong. We moved to Kentucky, which I think just had the Kentucky Derby recently. 8 electoral votes going to the Bengals, who are trying to establish their dominance in the Ohio region and the state surrounding it. Tennessee is next. Who will be winning Tennessee? It will be the Packers, which I think that puts them at 100 electoral votes, triple digits by Tennessee. I think that might be a record. Who knows? So this Packers team right here is generational. Mississippi is going up next. That will be going to the Bears. The Bears only have 2 electoral votes. This is a needed win for them if they want to even have a shot at advancing to the second round. That's not over yet because we do have states like New York and Florida, but they need to keep winning. Detroit is up next. Michigan, it will not be going to the Lions, who had double the percentage. Instead, the Steelers will win Michigan, getting 15 electoral votes. Indiana is next, home of the Indianapolis Colts, and that will be going to the Ravens. The Ravens needing electoral votes. What are they at right now? They're at 13. I thought they had a lot more than they actually did, but turns out they didn't. Alabama has 9 electoral votes. Who will be getting Alabama? The Packers will be getting Alabama. And who else do you expect? The Packers have over 100 electoral votes, now at 110. I mean, it's not a shocker at this point. Ohio, home state of 2 different teams, so they will each get double the percentage, which in the end kind of hurts both of their totals, but that's just how it is when you have multiple teams. And the Bengals, one of the home teams, will win the state of Ohio. The Bengals have been kind of establishing a dominant region with them and Kentucky, but not much. Maine at large, so this will be 2 electoral votes for the Browns, who I think are currently in second place, but really only because of Texas. Texas is carrying them. Besides Texas, they only have 24 electoral votes. Maine, the first district, will also be going to the Browns. I don't want to jinx it again, but the Browns seem to be on a 2-in-a-row run. That is impressive. They would have only 1 more electoral vote than the Ravens, though, if they didn't have Texas. The Bears, finally, getting another electoral vote. They're at 9, which somehow has tied with the Lions. We've been clowning on the Bears this entire time, but yet the Lions haven't been doing anything else. The Ravens will take New Hampshire, and that is the second AFC North team to take this New England region. Vermont has 3 electoral votes, and that will be going to the Lions. And so the Lions will now pass the Bears. Again, they will be trading spots for last place. What a competitive battle. Now, Massachusetts has 11 electoral votes going to the Steelers. The AFC North really likes to take this New England region. All we're missing is Cincinnati, who has 50 electoral votes. They would really need a state right here. Rhode Island has 4 electoral votes, and that will be going to the bank. Oh my word. I keep calling this stuff. I'm not kidding you. I had no idea that the Bengals. Okay, pause. Okay, this is the first time I noticed I had the Ravens. This is post-editing Grant, noticing that the Ravens were in Rhode Island. That is a mistake. That probably won't be corrected for the rest of the video. The Packers will take Connecticut, expanding their empire. Can they take New York as well? Who knows, but the Ravens will be taking New York. Although they didn't technically win Rhode Island, the Ravens still have been going on a good run here. They have been picking up some great states. New Jersey is next. Who will be taking New Jersey? They have 14 electoral votes, and that will be going to, that's tough, but that's barely the Lions over the Browns, who, let's just say, need a little bit more than the Lions, who are kind of not doing much so far. Pennsylvania is up next. That is home of the Steelers, but that will be sniped away by the Cincinnati Bengals, who are probably very upset at me for not having them win Rhode Island. But it's just Rhode Island. It doesn't really matter in the end. Delaware will have 3 electoral votes, and that will be going to the Bears. So the Bears finally win a state. At least it's a state, Bears. I mean, you can't really be complaining. Better than what you guys have done before. Maryland is the home of the Ravens, which has double percentage for them, and they will win it just like a true football team should. 2 more small spins until we get to what I like to call the gauntlet, which is the last 5 states. D.C. has 3 electoral votes, and the Browns will be taking the capital of the United States. The Cleveland Browns are on a pretty good run here. Winning Texas has definitely secured their spot so far, but the Bengals are right behind. They could end up losing this very easily. The Bengals could probably tie it right here, I think, but no, the Lions will be winning West Virginia, trying to get any state they can. Pro tip, Lions, you should have been doing this way earlier in the game, where you're not in the back of the pack. Virginia has 13 electoral votes, and that will be going to the Bears, which, funny or not, yeah, that doubles their actual score that they had before. That's what is called winning big states. The Bears need to learn how to do that, and they did. The Vikings will take North Carolina. The Vikings, honestly, a lot of things need to go their way if they want to be advancing. There's only 2 spots. South Carolina has 9 electoral votes, and that will be going to the Packers. The Packers definitely don't need any more districts. I don't even think they could lose this game if they tried. Winning South Carolina probably doesn't mean much to them. Just trying to screw over the other teams. The Browns winning Georgia. Does that wrap up the game? Who knows? Florida has 30 electoral votes. That's crazy. So, looking at it here, the Ravens and the Bengals, if they win Florida, they advance. If the Browns or any other team wins Florida, the Browns will be going along with the Packers. Congratulations, Packers. You guys have moved on to the next round. But it doesn't get any better than this, folks. What we've been waiting for, the final spin, Florida. 30 electoral votes. Who's going to win it? It will be the Packers. The most anticlimactic finish probably ever, because the Packers already had like 120 electoral votes. Packers, you don't need it. I get trying to go maybe for the most electoral votes. I'll have to check and see if this beats the record. But that is just crazy. What a crazy run. The Browns take second. The Bengals get 1 more over the Ravens, which is supposed to be more than that if the Ravens didn't get Rhode Island. The Vikings in 5th, the Steelers in 6th, the Lions in 7th, and then the Bears in 8th. Looking at the statistics here, the Packers and the Browns finishing pretty well above everyone else. The Packers obviously taking California, but that wasn't their only good win. The Browns taking Texas. Of course, the biggest 2 states will go to the biggest advancers. However, that hasn't been the case for a lot of the other times. And watch out for these next few episodes, because it won't be the status quo like this one. Trust me, there will be a lot of episodes coming in the future where things will shake up.